Hey, how's it going? I'm Terry Jensen. I'm the pastor of First Baptist Church in Plano, Illinois, and you are here through the week. This is our Wednesday edition, and we're going through James right now. We're talking a little bit about the Christian life and how to live it. In the first chapter of James, he is talking to some folks who have been scattered, displaced. They're Throughout the Roman Empire, these are the disenfranchised. These are the ones who are finding it difficulty to find their own identity in the world, so to say. So it's kind of apropos. However, I need to preface this with James is speaking to believers. James is not speaking to everyone. However, the wisdom of James is something that can just be, well, you could call it universal. It's something that goes across the board. If you're having trouble in your life, this is something that actually can help. And the biggest thing that can help along the way of managing trouble is turning to the Lord. So let's, I need to back up a sec, okay? Because what's happening in today's passage needs to be prefaced with yesterday's passage. So let's go back to that real quick and take a look at the last section of yesterday's passage. It says, "Do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord." Today's passage is James 1:8, and it goes, their loyalty, this is those people who are tossed around and are unfaithful in their belief toward God. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything that they do. Unstable. One of the things that everybody pretty much knows is that you can't walk the fence. Uh, you know, you find yourself in like one of those dumb teenager movies where the guy is skateboarding and all of a sudden he falls off his skateboard, but he's on a rail. And well, he falls on both sides of that rail at the same time. So, trying to be faithful to God and faithful to the world is just one of those things that doesn't work. Trying to be faithful to God while at the same time trying to utilize the systems and the principles of the world is also something that doesn't work. And that's a lot more insidious than simply being double minded in the sense that you are trying to be faithful to God and faithful to the world. Because trying to be a good, God fearing, godly, holy person while utilizing the morals and principles of the world, these things are diametrically opposed. You can't do that. So, what is the Christian to do? We live in this world. We have to operate within this world. So, what is the Christian to do? It isn't about what you do, it's about who you are. So, if you are a believer in Jesus Christ, then you must utilize the scriptures to give you the information and guidance to be able to live a godly and holy life. Is it impossible to do that? I don't think so. I think it's quite possible. If it were impossible, then why would God ask us to do that? And it just seems logical, right? So the Bible is for us that guidebook. It is actually the owner's manual. To begin with, let me back up a sec. The Bible is the self revelation of God. It's not meant to be our guidebook. It isn't given so that we can understand who we are. No, the Bible is given so that we can understand who God is. And it is in understanding who God is that we find our identity. We also find the answers to the question of who we are and where we want to be. And that's a big one. Asking the question who we are and who we want to be is a really big question. Because if you answer that question and say, I want to be a rich person, or I want to be an influential person in my town or in my state or in my country, or if you say that I want to be the one who's calling the shots, I want to be the big dog, then you're operating in a different realm. You're operating in the realm of the world. If you say that you want to know who God is, and because of that, learn to become closer to Him in the way that He is, then we must surrender. I know this can be kind of complicated because the idea of ambition in and of itself is not a bad thing. But ambition for the sake of self-aggrandizement or for the sake of lust or greed, that's sin. Romans 14 tells us that anything done that isn't done in faith is sin. So we have to remember who God is. When we understand who God is, we begin to understand who we are. And once we start understanding who God is, who we are in relationship to God, then we start understanding the separations that have to happen in this world, who we are in light of this world, who we are not in light of this world. So then we can make our decisions as to how to live. But first you must go to God. Go to God in wisdom, asking for wisdom. It's a wise thing to go to God and ask for wisdom. It is a good thing so that the Christian can stop being double-minded, can stop being that individual who looks in the mirror, turns away, and forgets immediately who he is, but is that individual that does not have a problem as to who God is and who the world is, who my allegiances are to. So, as you go through your life, think about this passage and think about the distinctions between God and the world, who God is and what the world is. When you start thinking about what the world is and you look at it, you're actually going to ask a who question. Who Satan is. Who is that slick old devil? He shows you. God shows you through His Word. Satan shows you through this world. Well, that's it for me. I'll catch y'all later. Bye-bye.